Hi, guys. Welcome to Parawomen Radio. I'm Amy. Tonight, we have a jam-packed lineup for the Watts case. We will be diving back into the Dodge Correctional Interview because who doesn't love a good prison chit-chat? Also, we'll be discussing Frankie Rzucek's triumphant return to YouTube. Yes, that's right. Shanann Watts' little brother, Frankie Rzucek, has returned to YouTube. And of course, we can't forget Mistress NK, scandalous. I'll give you a sneak peek before we schedule its own live. The Tilted Lawyer took her AZZ to trial. And last but certainly not least, I have a dire warning about the prison where Chris Watts is currently residing. Stay tuned for all the juicy details. I'm going to roll the credits and do a little bit of housekeeping, and I'll see you guys on the back end. Special shout out to my replay crew. I love you guys. I hope you're doing well. Hi guys, welcome to Parawomen Radio. I'm Amy.
In the beginning, it was like we were glued to each other, yes we were. And in a room full of people, we lost our sight. We're only us and no others, only us. But as we dove in deep, the water turned cold. Yeah, we have different dreams, so we can never grow. Yeah, as we dove in deep, the water turned cold. 'Cause we have different dreams, so we can never grow. It's sad to know, it's sad to know, it's sad to know that we'll become strangers again, strangers again, strangers again.
Okay, how is everyone doing today? Are you ready to talk a little bit about Watts? We have been doing the prison interview at Dodge Correctional. We did the first half of it in like two episodes, I think. And the next one will probably be 2 episodes. So we're going to dive into the interview after they come back from lunch. But before we do that, I like to add a little bit to it, give you a little bit of other content. Let me make sure that my audio, you can hear it. Okay, you can. So let me see if anybody's here. Not yet. Going to dive right into it. We're going to first talk about Frankie Rzucek. So he is back on YouTube. I tried to share it the other day, but my microphone got unhooked. So I want to go over it really quick with you. Let me get my screen ready for you. Okay, here it is. Has anyone seen that he's back on YouTube and that he also has members now? I found him, he doesn't, okay, so Sandy and Frankie often will post in their community section. They haven't been doing videos or anything like that, but he posted 5 days ago. I hope you all are in the mood for a good laugh, LOL. All right, well, we have been hearing some pretty hilarious conspiracies. I want to move myself down here. I like this better. Okay. They're too funny and insane not to talk about. Hopefully I can remember them all because there's quite a few. LMFAO. Anyway, according to a new channel's Some I've never heard of, maybe even some new. I honestly don't know. When he said that, I was like, man, is he talking about us in any way? Because I hope not, because we're not spreading anything. Anyway, according to a few channels, some I've never heard of before, I honestly don't know. I try to avoid them at all costs. They are still using my family for content, unfortunately. So these are things that he's heard that's been said. A few have said that my parents are split up, that they have already split before this happened to my family, that my dad was married to another woman, Lord knows what date they'll come up with, LOL, that my sister is my stepsister, even though people always told me we look alike, a lot alike. It's just like those people that are spreading about Nico and Celeste. My dad has gotten plastic surgery. Something Frank is doing is making him look a bit younger, in my opinion. I don't, maybe he's got a good skincare routine or he's just a lucky guy, but he does look like his skin is looking better these days. That he has a new girlfriend, LOL. My mom and I moved to Raleigh to live in a condo that we're millionaires. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice to be a millionaire? That we made money off of our family's tragedy. This one seems to be the most popular. That's the one that I hear the most. That I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I hear that a lot too. That I didn't really file a lawsuit. I did for harassment and defamation. That I stole the money raised through a legal crowdfunding company, Crowd Justice. That my case will never see a courtroom. Already did. We have a court hearing last Friday. Hopefully I can update you all soon on what's going on. That we sold my sister's laptop and phone to Netflix and made a ton of money. LOL. He seems to put the LOL at the ones, I think these are the ones that he's most offended by. That my dad was married to another woman, LOL. That he has a new girlfriend, LOL. That we sold my sister's laptop, LOL. That's all I can remember off the top of my head, LOL. This is just stuff I recently heard. I'm not laughing at him. I'm just laughing at the LOLs. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the absurdity and arrogance. If not, it will drive you crazy. There's many more, but some of these gave me a good laugh. Oh, and my parents just celebrated their 40th wedding anniversary. My 40th, let me try this again. Oh, and my parents just celebrated their 40-year wedding anniversary. LOL. Well, congratulations to the Rzuceks. That is simply amazing. That's like, congratulations, Sandy and Frank. My hats are off to you. Staying with somebody for 40 years, that's something right there. I can't say a lot of the other disgusting rumors, lies, and defamatory statements because they're repulsive and for legal reasons. I honestly can't believe what these channel and pages make people believe and never show any kind of evidence, obviously, because there isn't any. We have no reason to lie about anything. We're just a regular family who sadly experienced one of the worst nightmares anyone can think of. We're doing the best we can with what we've been dealt and the hell that came with it on social media. They really did get some hell on social media. We don't bother anymore. We mind our own business. Yes. See, that's the way to go. I wish the Watts would do this, take a page out of this book and take one day at a time. We're just trying to live a somewhat normal life. Anyone in my shoes would stand up for their family like I have. That's true. No one should have to, well, anybody that's loyal to their family would. No one should have to put up with this. Some of the lies and rumors that some hate-filled people spread are incredibly dangerous. And yes, I agree. Some of this is incredibly dangerous. And they don't care if something happened to us because someone believed their lie. I will never understand that. It's going to be 6 years in August. Wow. Actually, I thought it was 6 years last year, but wow. No, not one single day has passed where we didn't have to deal with this. Anyway, on a lighter note, thank you all for continuing to send love and support my family. We're extremely blessed to have each and every one of you standing with us. To all of my amazing people around the world, stay safe and God bless you all. My next post will be much happier, I promise. Heck, maybe it will be a video. Thanks again, XO. P.S. I added membership to the channel a few months ago. I don't want to make a post about it. I didn't want to make a post about it because I already get attacked for things I don't do. So I just thought I'd mention it here. I try to make private posts for my members to try and connect with I try to make private posts for my members to try and connect with you all. And then he has his memberships are open. We went over the memberships last night, but I'm just going to do it really quick. There's a $2.99 level, which is Rzucek Strong. You get loyalty badges next to your name and comments and live chat and priority reply to comments. And then they have he has a $6.99 one called Stop the Hate, early access to new videos, member shout outs, exclusive member only videos. And then there's a family supporters for $24.99 a month. And it doesn't say what you get for that. I imagine you get everything. Connecting on social media. $6.99 seems high to me. Am I like being a cheapskate, or is $6.99 like the going rate for this kind of stuff? But I will join it if you want me to. I can't video and, record what he's doing, but I can come back and report what he's doing if you want me to. I shall do this for you. Okay. Hi, James. How are you doing today? Hi, Maria. Just joining. Zoki is also live. Oh, is he? Well, I'm competing with somebody that's 50,000 strong. Thank you for being here if you're here with me. I appreciate that. So that's what's going on with Mr. Frankie. How are you guys feeling on Frankie? I'm trying to read the room, figure out how people are feeling about him. I think the memberships are a little bit too high for my taste, but I am poor and cheap. So what are you going to do? Let's keep going. And I'm going to give you the sneak peek about what I want to talk about with NK. So the tilted lawyer, let me show you. This is the tilted lawyer. I believe Watts the Obsession did a collab with him. But he did the mock cross-examination of Chris Watts' mistress, Nicole Kessinger. And I thought, wow, he's a lawyer, and that's very interesting. I thought we would look at it for a second, and there's a few other NK things I want to look at.
We've been discussing.
As always, we only watch partial parts of everything. I put everything down in the description that we view during this live for fair play use. I stop and start things, and we usually don't watch anything in its entirety. And I urge you to go on your own time and watch it straight through if that's what you want to do, or if you want to read it all. I will put the links for you, and you can go ahead and do that. This is all for entertainment and educational purposes only, and this is just all my opinion.
This case over several pretrial hearings, readiness hearings to discuss various versions of the evidence, and the defense has a motion in limine to exclude any mention of oxycodone?
You know, I just realized I forgot to do my algorithm dance party that I like to do. You can just start warming up your fingers and dance them up to the thumbs up and hearts button. Just start clicking them like nobody's watching, but the algorithm is always watching. It's just a free way to help my channel out, and it's really, really appreciated. And an extra way you can help me out is just click that subscribe button. It's free, and if you decide you don't like me, you can click it and unsubscribe. That easy, and it's appreciated whatever you do for me.
As it pertains to Nicole Kessinger's involvement in it, and as the judge, the presiding judge, I'm going to hear from both sides, but this motion as it sits on my desk appears to be brought under evidence code 401 as irrelevant evidence, and 403 as this might be just a waste of time. So hearing from defense counsel. Counselor? Well, Your Honor, there is scant evidence.
Also, am I the only one? But I think the tilted lawyer is very handsome. Like, this is the kind of handsome that I like.
No actual evidence whatsoever that Nicole Kessinger was involved in the obtaining or the administration.
Look at his skin. It's just like glowing. I'm like envious of his skin.
Oxycodone as it relates to
Oh,
Shanann
also,
Watt.
I want to say with the oxycodone, I know somebody who worked with that Amanda that came out and said that she had an affair with Chris, and she had a severe addiction. And I think maybe that's where Mr. Chris Watts got his stuff. Just saying. It's just my opinion.
We know from the prosecutor's brief that one of their theories of the case is that they want to plant the seed that somehow Nicole was involved in the planning, and they plan on going into this theory.
No, you're not going to bother annoy me. I am very open to, if you don't think the way I think, let's talk about it. Maybe we can come to the middle. I respect your opinion, and I ask you to respect mine. That's the way we roll here. I am not offended at all. And I think $6.99 is a lot, personally.
In closing arguments, in their opening statements, they want to introduce evidence that is not that is non-existent.
See, Thunder Chick agrees.
That is non-existent. And so from those grounds, number one, the charges are conspiracy to commit murder. There has not been any evidence, not one shred of evidence in the 1960 pages of discovery that have been generated in this case that Nicole had anything to do with oxycodone. This is pure speculation and conjecture, and it doesn't relate one iota to whether or not she conspired to murder. And on those grounds, it's irrelevant on 401. However, Your Honor,
so this looks really good. Am I right? So I'm going to create its own live around this. I have also, Plunder has done Nicole Kessinger arrest 2 times pre-Chris Watts. Wouldn't open the door for cops in Aura, Colorado. I thought we could go over that when we go over the tilted lawyer.
7. Officer Chadley Roberts was working off-duty at the Victoria Crossing apartment complex. My hours were 2200 hours to 0200 hours. I was on routine foot patrol around 040 hours when I heard loud music and yelling. I was approximately 100 yards away in a parking lot on the other side of an adjacent apartment.
You guys are good that get these arrest records. I can't wait until I'm big enough where I can do this kind of stuff. I'm sure I probably could now, but I wanted to get records for the Miller family, but it was like $10 a page or something. And I was like, I just can't afford that yet.
Building.
Maybe it was $10 a document. I don't know, but I still can't afford it yet.
approached, I could see through the back sliding glass door that there was a party at this particular address. I went to the front door and knocked. The music was so loud that they did not hear me knocking. I then banged on the front door again. A few seconds later, the music was turned down a bit, and I heard through the door someone say, "Shh, it's the effing cops." I then heard the deadbolt lock turn. I knocked again, but no one answered. I knocked.
So there is that. And then we have here 50 States of Madness, which I believe they do a lot of stuff with the Tilted Lawyer. They're talking about NK.
You know, they suspected like, okay, he did something. They watched that video from the neighbor that we talked about last week. They have Chris in there, and they already brought her in as a protected witness without even talking to any other witnesses, without even eliminating her as a
Indeed.
suspect.
So this is what I found.
Oh, okay.
His name is Dwayne.
Yes.
It says, while there's limited information about Nicole Kessinger's early life and background, her father's name is Dwayne Kessinger, born in
And so they're talking about Daddy Dwayne. I mean, I'm like so excited to do this, but I didn't get it ready. I was working on the Dodge Correctional because I really want to finish that. But I will have all of this together. What's today? Tuesday? By Friday. My Friday night live, I will do. Actually, that's what I'm going to do my Friday night live on. We'll do it on this. Does that sound good to you guys? I'm trying to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And I'm also looking for people to collaborate with. I love doing collabs. When I did Parawoman Radio for like 3 years straight, every Thursday, I always had a co-host. And even at the end of the show, I had somebody come on and they would talk about the Paraworld news, what was going on out in the weird news. And I miss that. I miss having someone to talk to. And I like to do collabs. And even though what's happened has happened, with he who shall not be named, I don't even like to say his name. But you know, I'll have to vet people more, but I would understand if anybody wanted to vet me. So I'm really looking for people to collaborate with. And I'm also looking for some indie music. When I did my show, we would take like a 10-minute break. I'm not saying we're doing this now, but we would take a 10-minute break and I would play some indie music. But I would like to play some indie music at on my opening and outro. And so I'm really interested. If you're a musician, you don't have to be like Taylor Swift or, you know, anybody that's won Grammys or anything like that. I just need a little jingle or two. And you can email me at parawomanradio@gmail.com. It's exactly how it sounds. PARA women. It's women is MEN, not MAN, radio@gmail.com. Let's see what you guys are saying over in chat. NK ran rings around Kovac in her interview. She sure did. She loves to hear herself talk, doesn't she? She loves to hear herself talk. They also join Zawoki. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, that's awesome. I hope they leave Jim alone. Sorry, I keep coming. I can't. Well, people are like, Junie likes my little green cheek likes to, he's in the other room right now, but he likes to horn in on things and talk. And I have people telling me to leave Junie alone, like leave Jim alone, but leave Junie alone, which makes me laugh every time. Okay. And I want to, before we watch the Dodge Correctional, I wanted to show you, I saw this and I thought it was really interesting because this is where Chris is living these days. And it said inside Waupun Correctional Institution's nightmare lockdown. This was when they had COVID. They're talking about what it was like when they had COVID. Prisoners describe unsanitary conditions and a dearth of medical care. Experts say staffing shortages are contributing to lockdowns across the country. Let me see the date on this. I thought I saw that. I missed when the date used to be up in the right-hand corner of your paper. Do you guys see the date anywhere? Anyway, let's read it. Wisconsin's top prison officials wrote to the governor in 2015 with a dire warning. The state prisons were dangerously understaffed, imperiling both guards and inmates. 5 years later, 2 men escaped from a maximum security Wisconsin prison that once held Jeffrey Dahmer, fleeing early one morning when 4 of the facility's 5 watchtowers were unmanned. When did 5 men escape from Waupun? Then I'll know the date. Uh, 2020? Oh my gosh, but I'm finding more things. It's like 10 guards to 900 inmates. Oh my gosh, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. And I see the New York Times picked this up. April 2020 is when it's happened. Today, 2 of the state's prisons have been in lockdown for months. Prison officials who initially blamed the restrictions on violent outbursts have since conceded that a shortage of guards have kept the lockdown in place. So Chrissy Poo might be actually on lockdown because everybody's on lockdown. Sounds like. That should not have been a surprise. By the time the crisis began, the state had known for years that it was losing guards faster than it could. I think all prisons are I think all prisons are having this problem because I mean, we've got to do some prison reform, and I'm not saying let people out. I'm just like saying reform their time during the prison so that when they do get out, that's what I think about prison reform. Like, just reform the insides first. Almost half the jobs for guards at the state's maximum security prisons were unfilled in mid-2023, up from just 10% at the start of 2017. According to analysis of Department of Corrections data, overtime costs have skyrocketed. So the percentage of inexperienced officers have skyrocketed, and so has the percentage of in Wisconsin prisons. Almost half the guard jobs have been unfilled. Guards have been fleeing the state's prison system with the steepest losses in the most secure facilities. So here's a little graph. Will this go away? Yeah, okay. So, wow. Look at these figures. It starts in 2016-ish and it goes to 2023. And it's like almost off at 50% in 23. So it's probably even higher. 24 has been a beast of a year. It's been a quick year too. It's already May. Well, next week, tomorrow, or how many days are in April? I don't even know. 30. Yeah, tomorrow. The lack of personnel drove prisons officials to take extreme shortcuts in how they ran the facilities, interviews, and records show. Even so, state leaders did not take significant steps to slow the hemorrhaging of guards until last year, long after the earliest problems were apparent. Wisconsin's struggle to staff its prisons is reflective of a crisis building across the country, as the job of prison guards, long seen as stable positions with generous benefits, have become increasingly undesirable. Working conditions deteriorated as the pandemic ravaged aging correctional facilities, and other entry-level jobs suddenly began offering higher wages. The number of people employed by state prisons fell in 2022 as its lowest point in more than 2 decades, according to U.S. Census data. A national review by the Marshall Project described how short staffing has changed nearly every aspect of prison life across the country. In Georgia, the staff was stretched so thin that no one noticed for 5 days that a man had died in his cell. A prisoner in Missouri pulled out his own teeth one by one because he could not see a dentist. Jeez. The state's oldest prison, the Waupun Correctional Institution, has been locked down since March. So this was in 2020 that it was wrote. April of 2020. So they had been in a month-long lockdown. With prisoners confined to their cells nearly all the time, eating meals out of brown paper bags, and sometimes going weeks without fresh air and exercise. Inmates have been denied family visits, access to the law library, and timely medical and dental care. Prisoners say those conditions have driven many of them to think of unaliving themselves. One provided reporters with a prison report showing that on more than one occasion, guards had walked away while he cut himself. 3 incarcerated men have passed away in Waupun since its lockdown began, including one confirmed unaliving themselves. In interviews, guards said their jobs have gone from difficult to nearly impossible. The prisons have become increasingly hard to control. They say as basic operations have slowed to a crawl. They described nights when 10 staff members at Waupun had been responsible for 900 prisoners. That just blows my mind. Vans that no longer patrol another prison's perimeter at night. Teachers who set aside classroom duties to supervise inmates during recreation time. Guards are now regularly required to work overtime. They are ordered at the end of a shift to stay at work for another, often with no warning, leaving family plans in upheaval. That's a sure way to get people to quit. Some guards are made to work 16-hour days several times a week. Like with the vid, everybody realized that you can make money other ways. So why do you, like, when I go and get my prescriptions and they're having problems or something, I just thank them for even showing up to their job today because they don't have to. The Department of Corrections declined to comment for this article. In a statement this week, the department said the conditions in the lockdown prisons have improved and that it had hired nearly 300 new guards in November and December. In total, the department has nearly 3,000 full positions for correction officers. So it goes into talking about what's happening with the guards. Like the veterans officers are beginning to lose prize seniority rights and they're being forced to work 16 hours a day. Between 2013 and 2022, annual overtime pay for officers and sergeants more than doubled to $64. Oh, 64 million from 28 million, according to analysis of state payroll data. That means nothing to me. I wish they would have said like what it went from, like $25 to $50 an hour. The high levels of overtime resulted in at least 714 officers and sergeants, roughly 1 out of every 6 guards and sergeants being paid more than, 100,000 in 2022. Woo! I had no idea. Did you guys that they were making that much money? 28 of them made more than 152,755 salary of the head of the department. Did you guys know that they were making all this money? I had no idea. In 2015, Wall saw the staffing shortfalls as a brewing disaster and wrote a memo to Walker to warn him, if you don't address the recruitment and retention issues appropriately, we will continue to see overtime escalate and fatigue get worse, he wrote, adding that overworked guards and angry prisoners were a recipe for trouble. Indeed. He said he handed it to Walker's chief of staff. It never came up again. The View in the department, Wall said in recent interviews, said they're not going to take us seriously until someone gets unalived. And speaking of unalived, people were talking in my comments today. They're not happy with that word because all the content creators are starting to use it. We can't say certain words or our videos will get flagged. And that means that YouTube will not send it out into the algorithm if you say certain words like the M word and the K word. And so people have taken to saying unalived. But I did like this, I wanted to see similar words, and I said I would try to use different words. But it's really hard because there's liquidation, butchery. I don't know if I can say butchery, but there's that word. There's liquidate, eliminate. It's just really hard to find a word that doesn't sound ridiculous like unalive, but that's all I got for now. You guys tell me what word you really want me to say, and I will say that word. But it can't be the M word or the K word. Sorry. So I will put the link to this. You can read if you're interested, but it looks like the prison system is a freaking mess in Wisconsin. But yet Chris Watts seems to really love his time there. I think he recognizes how safe he is. Yeah, censorship sucks. I'm not even for people that are being deplatformed. I don't even think that's right. Because when you start messing with the First Amendment, I don't know, then you're looking at trouble. And I think we're looking at trouble. So I am not someone. Happy Taco Tuesday. Phoenix Rising Fire. That's a pretty name. J Lord says those are high-ranking cops. Oh, so the lower ones don't make anywhere near that. I wonder how much the low-ranking ones make. Yes, it's terrifying for a maximum security prison. Terrifying. And it means that those guys escaped while Chris was in there. Oof. Okay, guys, let us... I also did a few days ago, we started talking about what Chris is eating and stuff like that. I like to know stuff like this. It's just, I'm weird like that. And I found some more stuff. So I'm going to create an entire live around commissary and that kind of thing. And I found this. If you want to see what Chris has been buying at the commissary up to March 2020, check out this video. Lots of junk food. So we're going to go over, not tonight, but we're going to go over what he's doing. Here's a whole list about what he's been eating. Today, we're going to start watching the second part of the interview where the detectives that interviewed him, the CBI detectives that interviewed him in Colorado, they drove to Waupun and talked to him. So they've had a little bit of snackies, and they sent Chris off for his lunch and his nappy poo, and they're coming back for round 2. And so we're going to start into that. I will come down into the comments. I won't be talking over the interview. I'll be down in the comments with you guys discussing it. I'll be throwing things up on the screen, but I won't be talking over it. So let me get ourselves ready. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up, guys. It's a free way to support my channel, and it's really, really appreciated. And if you like my content, please subscribe. All right. We are in takedown. That's why they are censoring. Yeah, I'm not really happy what's happening. Yeah, it's very strange. I hate how they lead him. It just drives me crazy. Let me make sure I covered everything first before we go into it. Yeah, I did. Okay. So this is Parawoman Radio, and we're watching part 2 of the Waupun Dodge Correctional Interview, where the CBI agents went and visited him. They went out for lunch, and they came back, and this is round 2 of this interview, which really, this interview angers me. So it's a good thing I'm going to be down in the comments. I won't be talking over it. Here we go, guys.
We came back.
How's it going?
How was lunch?
It was macaroni and cheese and a bun and some milk. So it was good.
Oh, that's not
They served milk
bad.
with everything.
No.
Yeah. So,
Chocolate milk or regular
oh,
milk?
just regular milk.
Oh.
Chocolate milk's, I guess that's like, I don't know.
Special. It is a holiday today, you know that.
I know. But I think they had chocolate milk on Christmas. But,
Oh, really?
yeah, they got milk with everything here, obviously, you know, the state. So,
Oh,
lot of
dairy. The dairy state.
so they got cheese with a lot of stuff too. So,
Macaroni and cheese.
yeah.
Well, we brought you some non-lactose Powerade if you'd like it.
Seriously?
Yeah, all yours.
Wow. Thank you. That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So we don't want to take you, all day, and we really do appreciate being able to sit down and talk with us. There's a few things we want to kind of clear up, wrap up, and then if you have any questions for us, that'd be fine too. Don't let me forget. Did you want to talk about Ronnie a little bit or no?
I talked to your dad. We were at lunch,
Oh, okay.
and a couple things we talked about your property and waiting on the DA's office. But then the reason he called was Dave Cohen.
There's one.
Yeah, he's gonna go pick up some of your personal items out of the house
Okay.
today. So
Okay.
yeah, so I'll let you know that.
Okay.
We didn't tell him anything about what we talked
No,
about.
he doesn't know. Yeah.
He doesn't even know we're here.
Oh, okay.
No.
He just lives like around the corner from me, so
Right.
that'd be good.
Yeah, so he just a lot of times when anybody goes over there, they call just so I can give everybody a heads up. That way, kind of shoot neighbors call and say somebody's into the house.
Okay.
So that's what we do that.
Okay. Has anybody been like checking on the house, making like pipes haven't broken and all that kind of stuff?
Water's off.
Okay,
I
good.
do know that.
I was worried about like sprinkling all that stuff. I usually blow them out and all that kind of stuff.
Right,
but I
right.
figured
Yeah,
I
the
don't know if
water.
anybody was actually going through it or watching it or anything.
The water's been off for a while. I do know that. The power's still on there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know how you want to look at it, but we need to get a tiny bit more into the weeds and into the mechanics of the time you showed up at the house when Officer Kunrad was there,
Okay.
till the time when we were all done talking.
Okay.
So that includes at the house, that includes at the oil site, and everything.
Okay.
And part of the reason we need to get into that is I mentioned before how we're just really want to get into the mindset of what happened. And you can imagine this is really important for us in the future when we're talking to a guy that's in your position to say, this isn't really a monster. This is more like a Chris Watts. And boy, we remember with Chris, had we asked this or had we done this, we really could have been better. And so that's why we want to get into the mechanics of it a little bit more with you. And that's going to mean exactly how, exactly when, where were you, what was Shanann wearing, or all of that, right? So we really just need for you to take a deep breath and get into it with us. And would it be all right if we ask you some specific questions? Okay. So one of the first things we want to talk about was when you came home. So this is after they had passed, and you came home and met with Officer Coonrod. One of the first things we see on the video is you walking into the garage and then into the Shanann's car. Remember what that was about?
In your car?
Yeah, like I think you opened the door or something?
Yeah, you opened the passenger door, and it looked like you were looking for something, or maybe you picked something up. Do you recall what that was?
Not that I'm aware of. Not looking for anything, but maybe just opening the car door to see if Jeeps or. Because I think he was saying, I think I see the car seat still in there.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was,
Okay.
When I opened up the door, I looked in just it's like the first reaction of everybody's just waiting, pretty much waiting to get in the house.
Right.
Okay. So I wasn't looking for anything as far as specific or anything, but I was just, I don't know, just reaction going in there, and I know everybody's there. I don't know what's going to happen when they get in the house.
You just out of nervousness, maybe?
Yeah. A lot of it was out of nervousness.
Sure. Okay.
And then backing up a tiny bit, I jumped forward too far. So she comes home at 2 a.m. She gets into bed. Was when you guys had sex together, was that pretty quickly after she came home?
I think it was around 2:30 because I felt like she'd be in bed for a little while.
Okay. And forgive me, it's not a pervy thing, but she woke you up.
Yeah, she was just. I could feel like a hand was on me, rubbing my leg or my chest or something.
Okay.
Like that.
And then that was, signal it's go time type thing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
She was like, yeah.
Okay, I get it. And then that was maybe half an hour after.
Mhm.
And then after that, is there any talking, or was it just kind of
And just
quiet in the middle of the night?
just like I just felt her hand around me. I'm just like, what? And it was
Time to go.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. All right. Then a couple hours of sleep. Alarm goes off.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess what I don't understand is, so then there was some talking, and then how did you get on top of her? How did that happen?
It's like when I got into bed, I just figured she was laying. When she was sleeping, she was laying face down, which she never does.
Okay.
And I just got into bed and I kind of nudged her, and then she kind of rolled over, and I was just right there on top of her.
Okay. And so that was after you'd gotten ready.
Mhm.
Okay. So you go down, you make your food.
Oh yeah, I got cottage cheese and another couple things I made my food that day.
Okay. And then, so we talked a little bit earlier today about, there was all of these things playing in your mind where you just didn't want to go another second without having this conversation, without some sort of completion, right? And then so you come back, she's asleep, and then you just kind of nudge her.
Yeah, I just kind of hey, look up for a second.
And was there a nudge talk for 20 minutes, or was it just nudge and then all of a sudden you're on top of her?
No, it's pretty much on top.
Okay, so that happened pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's how we kind of pretty much talked.
Okay.
I was just right there.
And was there talking?
Yeah.
Okay, and so a nudge, a talk, she's laying down and you're standing up?
I crawled back. I got on my side of the bed,
Uh-huh.
and I just nudged her like that.
Oh, okay. And then you're talking while you're on top of her?
Mhm.
Okay. That seems confusing to me. Is that actually what happened? Okay. And so.
But she was fine, just laying there, you trying to talk to her while you're
I
on top
think
of
she
her?
maybe I thought we were going to have sex again or something.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how long did you talk?
About 15, 20 minutes.
Really? In that position? Okay. And was there any sex?
No.
Okay.
Maybe she found basically from the position that we're in. Maybe she thought maybe I'd try to go again. I don't know.
Okay. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but I'm just trying to think, if my wife's 4 months pregnant and it's 5 o'clock in the morning and I want to talk and I want to get on top of her, that's just not going to fly. So that's why I'm confused.
I don't know.
Is that really what happened? Okay. And then talk for about 15 minutes and then it's heated and then your hands are on her neck. Okay. All right.
What did the talk consist of?
Basically, just about how at first it was more of like the selling the house type of thing, or not going to Aspen, or trying to maybe go in at a different time, and then just switched all to the. I don't feel like I'm in love with you anymore. Not compatible. Went to that, and that's when I got to the heated part of it.
Did she ever say at some point, get off me or anything like that?
At the end,
Yeah.
That's what she said. I want you to, but because where I was, it's kind of like she didn't want me to sit down or hurt the baby or anything like that. Just
Did she accuse you of cheating at that point?
Mhm.
So what'd she say?
She's like, I knew there was somebody else. I didn't come out to say, that there is somebody else, but she obviously already knew.
So your response to that was what? Did she say, no, there's not? Did she deny it?
pretty much just denied it, but at that point, that always, because when she would accuse me at the beach, there was a lot of like, there's nobody else, there's nobody else, or like, and when we got back home, she always like said there's got to be somebody else, because she'd always talk to her friends like Christina or somebody on text messaging, and they'd always say there's got to be somebody else if he's not wanting to sleep with you, like he's hitting it from somewhere else, and there's nowhere else. I mean, she couldn't really say I would get anywhere else because I was using those American gift cards, so it's kind of like just me getting distant, but she knew, and that's mainly the reason why I talked to her, because I knew like after that night it was just like it felt like I just felt more guilty than ever before.
Yeah. And then it seems to me, and sorry, I had a lot of thoughts here. So we know what happened, and we can talk about it today kind of openly, and that's what we need from you, is to just kind of say, I know it sounds bad, or I know this, or I know I feel this way, but physically this is exactly what happened. So if you could tell us that, it seems then that it would have had to have been a pretty quick transition from two people talking to this, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, it was like, I don't want to trying to think of the last things we were talking about, but it was, I don't feel like I love you anymore, and then she's like, you're never going to see the kiss me.
Oh, that's perfect, Chris. That's exactly what we need. Okay. And I know it's hard to walk through that again, but that's exactly what we need. So then, as soon as she started talking like that, then it was on. Okay.
But it was you saying that you didn't love her. Is that right? Okay.
And her saying you're never going to see the kids. Okay. I can imagine how that made you feel. Sorry.
It didn't warrant what it did.
Yeah. And then the fact that she didn't scratch at you or anything, is that just because it was so powerful?
I don't think it didn't feel like, I've never done that before, but my hands on anybody before, so I don't even know what kind of force I was putting on her neck.
Okay.
Like I said, 2 to 4 minutes, I don't know if that was 2 to 4 minutes.
Did you cover her face at all during that time?
Both hands on the neck. Okay. And so if it's done right, I mean, that can be a matter of seconds before someone on their carotid loses oxygen to their brains out, right? Did it seem like it was that quick, or? Okay. Maybe a minute, maybe 2. Okay. Screaming? Okay. All right. Did you see eyes go bloodshot or anything like that? Okay. And
You kept talking about the mascara. Did you see mascara on her face?
Yes, it looked like it was like, that's what I attributed it to.
Was she crying? Is that why? At what point did she start crying?
When I'm talking about the relationship, about not being compatible. When she's talking about there's somebody else, that's where she started crying. That's where I thought, it was mascara. I didn't know. Was it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Was there a pillow or something you wanted to ask?
Yeah, so was there ever at any time a pillow or the sheet or anything involved in like that on the face specifically? No?
Not like the sheet I kind of wrapped around to get downstairs. That was it.
The one that was at the site? Okay. And then the other sheets, they were in the trash. At what point did you put those in there?
I think that was,
Obviously after I was in the house.
yeah. I think it was probably the next day or so. I think I'm not sure like what happened. This is hard to talk about. Like when strangles them out, like sometimes like I said, use the bathroom. So it was like I think that's one of the major reasons why, because something that had happened.
Oh, okay.
You said she was sleeping face down at one point? Was her face in the pillow or was it turned to the side? How did that?
Kind of like on the side. She was kind of like a side sleeper, but she was more down than usual.
Okay.
But then she rolled completely on her back when you started talking to her?
Okay. Now, as hard as that was, you talk about the girls too, okay? All right, thank you. So with the girls, we talked about how they got into the truck with you and were alive. Okay. Are you 100% sure that's true?
Can we go back just a second? You talked about before that Bella walked in though to the bedroom. Can you tell us about that before you left?
Yeah, I was just getting the sheet off the bed, and she had walked in, and she had her little pink blanket with her. And she's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong with mommy?"
And where was she at that point?
Yeah, just pretty much on the bed, but she was face down.
Wrapped in the sheet. What'd you say?
Just said, she doesn't feel good. That's when I started to carry her downstairs.
Shanann?
Did you carry her like this? Did you drag her? How did you do it?
Attempted to pick her up and take her down, but I lost grip after a little while. I just had to pull.
Did Bella see you do that? What was Bella saying?
She started crying a little bit. She said, "What's wrong, Mom?"
And what'd you say that time?
I said, "She doesn't feel good." She's a smart girl. She know what's going on there.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever touch Shanann? Try to wake her up or anything? No.
She didn't want to see her or ask to see her or anything. And so that initial time, did she see you put Shanann in the truck? So she was kind of following you? Okay. She followed you and you put Shanann in the truck. Okay. And then what?
Cece wasn't up yet. Right? She was just in her room. She was getting ready to get out of her bed. And then they were just walking around the house. I was put my lunchbox and stuff in the truck and then grabbed the kids and I put them in the bench sheet for that.
Okay. And so Shanann, is she kind of on the floor in the back? And they're just on the bench. Okay. And both alive at that point. Okay. Is there any reason you would feel uncomfortable to tell me that they were not alive at that point?
Okay. Wasn't it a video or anything?
It's hard to see. Okay. And I believe you. I'm just I'm trying to make sure that I'm giving you all the opportunities to be comfortable enough to tell me exactly. Okay.
They were.
Okay.
Trust me, I hear that every day when a fellow was talking to me. I was like,
"Oh, really? What do you mean?"
And she said, "Daddy, no." When we were driving to the site, she said, "Daddy, it smells."
Oh. Okay. So that goes back to maybe Shanann evacuating herself.
I don't know if it was that. That smell like a skunk maybe sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So I got some kind of smell that way, but I don't know what that was from.
And was that maybe outside the truck or was that in?
I don't know.
Okay. What did you guys talk about on the way out?
They were pretty quiet. They just laid next to each other.
Okay.
Maybe Bella in her lap and TC in her lap, just back and forth.
Oh, okay. Just trading off like little ones do. Okay. Were they awake?
I think one would kind of fall asleep, and TC would kind of trade off back and forth.
Were they talking to you?
Just about just saying, "Daddy, it smells."
Oh, okay.
It was early in the morning. They showed up early.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you have to? So you didn't have to wake Cece up?
There was the noise from trying to get down the stairs.
Did she kind of fall down the stairs?
No, it was more like trying to get her down and from the steps, maybe her foot to the next step kind of thing.
Oh.
They're like sleepers.
So then, once you get to the site, tell me what happens.
So I get to the one site and I get Shanann out to that. Go over to the part right outside the site there.
Okay.
And the girls are still in the truck.
Okay.
Did they ask you what you were doing, taking mommy out, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what I told them, but they did ask that.
What they say specifically?
It was more like, what are you doing to mommy?
Okay. And then is that when you buried her?
I didn't tell. I don't remember if it was like dug a hole there first or they didn't watch me do that.
Okay. So then pulled Shanann out and she's maybe just sitting there on top of the ground?
Yeah, like off to the side.
Off to the side, close to where she ended up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the girls, right? Okay. You mentioned Bella was first. Cece was first, okay. Where exactly was she when it happened?
In the backseat.
Okay, was she just right next to Bella?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, once again, was it hand over her face? Was it?
It was a blanket over and my hand.
In your hand. Okay. And then so that just stopped her from breathing type thing? Okay. Did she struggle at all?
I don't think so, but I was blocking her face and my hand was right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had one hand here and one hand over her mouth?
And were you just pushing her against the back of the seat type thing? Okay. What was Bella doing?
She was sitting there next to her. She didn't know what was going on.
Okay. Could she see you? Okay. And then did that take a minute or two?
Nothing. I had no concept at the time at this point.
Okay. Tell me about what you were thinking.
I was thinking it's what happened.
Yeah.
Right. Any partial hint of what I feel for those girls and what I feel for my wife, but none of this would have happened. So I wasn't thinking.
Okay. So she's in the back seat. Okay. And then once she's gone, then is it Bella next, or did you pull Cece out?
I pulled Cece out.
Okay. So once Cece's gone, Bella's still there in the car alive, and then you pulled Cece out. What'd you do with her? Okay. So she went into the tank, and Bella was still in the back of the truck alive. Okay. With regard to that tank, Did you bring up Cece, put her down, open the hatch?
Brought her up, opened the hatch.
Put her in. Okay. When we talked the very first time we met, when we were talking about this, it was a matter of just lowering her down. Okay. So she went in feet first. Okay. Was she able to fit pretty well? Was it snug?
I think so.
Okay. Did you have to like move her around a little bit and get her in there?
I think so.
Okay.
I didn't have to hit her
Okay.
like that.
It's not like you stomped her in.
No.
Okay. And then close the hatch.
Yes.
Okay. And then went down to Bella. Tell me what happened there.
She said what happened to Cece. Or she asked. It was the same thing. The exact same thing that happened to me as Cece.
Did she ask you that? Okay. So that was pretty smart. How did she sound when she asked you that, Griff?
She said that soft voice she always had.
Yeah. What exactly did she say?
She said that it's the same thing that happened to me as Cece. And then I said, I don't even remember what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just said yes like a horrible person, or if I just put that blanket over her too and did the same thing.
Same blanket, same way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said, no, Daddy. And that's what she said.
Did she say no, Daddy, like, please, no, Daddy type thing? Did she say a thing, don't do it?
She said, no, Daddy.
Okay. Same way, hand on neck, hand on mouth, or hand on the blanket with the mouth? Okay. Did that take a couple minutes?
I like it.
Okay. Then what?
I just know she had a couple spots like over her eye or something. And I picked her up. And same thing.
And we talked a little bit earlier today about it. You don't remember why a different tank? Okay. And there was no reason.
No, they're both the same tank. I mean, they're just like, I don't know why I did the
Okay. There's one, I never got up there. Does one catwalk lead to both?
Oil can go in either tank.
Okay. But if you go up one set of ladders, does that eventually indicate to both?
It's one catwalk.
Okay. Now, Bella was a little bit bigger. Was she harder to get in?
It felt like a little bit.
Okay. And so was it a matter of just kind of maneuvering her? Right. So then they're both in there. Is there any reason to think they were alive when they fell in? Okay. You're pretty sure. Okay. So once that's done, then what?
Go over to she had. Clear away some weeds and dig a hole.
Okay. Did you have a shovel?
Yeah, we have a shovel, rake, and a weed whacker as part of our tools.
With that rake, if I remember right, it was
part of it was sitting there because it was broken.
Oh, did it break as you were digging or something?
No, when I was like smoothing the ground over.
On this day, it broke when you were doing that? Okay. Was that after you were all done? And it seemed as though maybe the first people that got there saw it was stuck in the ground?
I guess it was like, not like standing up, but it was like laying down.
Oh, okay. Were you planning on coming back?
I mean, I don't think so.
At this point then, this is just before then, in a couple of hours, you would make it back home to see Officer Conrad. Okay. And so once she's buried, then
that's when people start showing up, I believe.
Did you notice, was she cut or broken or bleeding in any way?
No, I mean, I know like the bloodshot eyes you're talking about, noticed that at that point.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Had she partially given birth?
No.
You remember?
Yeah, I remember she had a shirt and blue underwear on.
Okay, I see. And so at that point, she was, okay. Thank you. I know that wasn't me.
Can you tell us about, obviously, you know, when the district attorney got up and talked about Bella's injuries and stuff,
I didn't want to hear about that.
right? Can you tell us about that?
As far as like her biting her tongue?
And that thing, her frenulum, which is that connective skin from your lip to your gum, was gone. Her gums had it looked like a hole in them. And the pathologist said it was from her obviously struggling to get away.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Could it be that that's what happened?
So like, I didn't put my hand like over her, like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it would have been just downward pressure on this area.
I didn't see any of that when I picked that up. Like it was like her lip was like missing or something.
No, see the skin that
Uh-huh.
connects there? That was ripped. Like it was gone. So it kind of made like a hole in her gum.
I'm just thinking maybe it's like maybe like if her mouth hand was not her head was like twisting back and forth. Could that have done that?
Yeah.
I had a blanket. I don't know.
Did you feel her doing that thrashing? Or trying to get away?
I
Or
felt her head moving back and forth.
you did?
But I didn't know that had happened.
Could you tell she was trying to yell or say anything? Or
The only thing was the daddy no, and then like some like grunt here and there, trying to breathe.
During that time, you remember getting phone calls from Nicole Atkinson?
After I think before she got to my house or after.
Just any time during that morning.
I think I didn't get one until I saw her on my doorbell camera.
And that was, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And so at that time, had everything been done out at 3319?
Yeah, I was at a different site at a pumping unit.
Okay. So you went from there when it was all done. So girls are in the oil, shenanigans in the ground, and maybe a little bit of cleanup. Was there any questions you had about the sheets or any garbage cans or garbage sacks?
No, I think
Okay.
you answered those already.
All right. So then you went from that site to another site to work.
Yeah, because there was at that Survey 319, there was a little spill. That's what everybody showed up there because that was they were trying to figure out what happened.
Oh,
While you're on that subject, back up the night before, you had some text messaging about going out there. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that was I think Friday that we had figured out there was a spill out there from like his old site set up a little different. So what had happened was there was a downcomer and then there's a side comer going into those oil tanks, and one of the downcomers is tied into a back pressure line that split, and every time it was dumping oil, it was split underground and the oil was coming up out of the ground. And we decided to go out there on Monday because it was Friday and he had like switched it out, or either he started in or switched lines, or he covered it up and see if it was going to come back or not.
Okay. And then it's more specifically, you talked or you text about how you would go out there and take
Yeah, I was
care of
going to
it.
take care of it for him because I've gone out there plenty of times.
Okay.
So I used, when another guy was out there as far as another foreman, he showed me around out there like a year or so ago, and I just got familiar with the place and I just let him know.
and so that was a genuine.
Yeah,
that wasn't a pre-alibi. That
But
was
there was a lot of people that said that you wouldn't normally do that.
Normally help somebody.
No, like a field to your position, like not you specifically, but your position doesn't do that kind of stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I was a rover and to a field point, I still tried to do everything I used to do.
Okay.
So that's still like I wasn't good at delegating stuff. I just used to do stuff on my own, or just like taking care of it for somebody else.
Right.
I wasn't good at the whole like, hey, you go do this, you go do that, while I sit over here. And
You see what it looks like to
I
us,
know,
you know,
it's like
when it came up, we're
I know.
like making plans to be out there, you know, that day.
I know.
but that's not what it was. That was
I
natural.
wasn't. No. I was going to help them.
So how long were you there? What time do you think you were done with the girls?
Hard to really tell. I mean, I think everybody started showing up there by around 7:45, 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So
And then you were there. You went to a different site?
yeah, it's like I think it was either the 10:29 or the 6:29 or something like that.
And so how long were you at that site?
The rest of the day until I got called away.
So then that was, you were there for at least a couple hours until you heard Nicole Atkinson on the doorbell.
Yeah.
And then I think there was even more time after that until you started coming home.
Yep.
And you got home at 2 something?
No, it's closer to 1:30 around there.
So somewhere around, 9 o'clock-ish, all the way till 12:30 or 12 or 1 or something, and then came home.
Yep.
Okay. There was a lot to do about coming home and listening to that Metallica song. Have you heard about that?
I've heard of a Metallica song that people have been, someone singing lyrics to it called Battery.
You remember doing that?
That was Nikki Kessinger. She liked the song, or she just wanted to know what it meant.
Oh.
So that's
That's why you looked it up.
I just kind of looked at I didn't have the CD with me, so I didn't, I just kind of looked at the words a little bit.
And was that on the way home?
Hmm.
Oh, that was just a different time.
That was a different time.
Okay, and so you probably got away with
It's
that.
because it's a battery.
Right. Okay.
But it's like, it's more about like a family coinciding as a battery.
Okay.
Not like, hitting somebody. Sure.
Why did Nikki want to know what it meant? How did that come
I
up?
don't know. It was kind of strange. I mean, she's very into different types of music, and I mean, music I never really thought I'd ever listen to, and like she got me into a few things there as far as music wise. But like Battery was something that she asked me because I knew Metallica pretty well. She just wanted to know, like, hey, what's this lyrics mean? I just looked it up just to look at all the words together and just put it in my head again, and that was it. She just made something out of nothing. That's why I was trying to pick out those lyrics in a letter.
Oh, so now does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some simple lyrics to it.
Yeah.
Like that guy from California.
Oh, the kid?
Yeah.
The senior?
With regards to then when you get home, you and the officers, saw what they saw. You mentioned that you took the ring off her finger. And then the book, did you throw that in the trash? Okay. There was another book, Body of Evidence. Does that sound familiar?
That you had in your cell.
The body of that Judge Cornwell.
Maybe. That's not right.
Probably.
Did Emerald County.
What was that about?
That was just one they gave me.
Who gave it to you?
The deputies.
Not your
Or-
attorneys or?
Oh, no, they can't give me books.
Oh.
No, any book that I had was given to me by the book cart that they had.
So you didn't ask for that book or?
No, they just kind of give me like, I read some Brad Thor books. He's like a military guy. And Christian Cornwell, my grandma always read her books and thought it was, she loved those books. And I'm not sure that was probably one of the first books, not the first book I read there, but probably the second book I read there. But it was like they gave me, here's 4 books, choose.
What other book did you read? Do you remember?
The first book they gave me when I was in Suicide Watch was, I don't know why, but Murder at Something. And I was like, I looked at him and was like, that's the one we got. I'm like, okay. But,
They handed you that book by itself, no other choices?
now the next book I got, another guy that was, I guess they're overcrowded there, guy was sleeping on a cot outside my door. He's like, here, try this one. It was one that was based like in the 1800s. It's more of like a situational book, like a time period book. So that was a little more calm for that one. That was the first book they gave.
You don't remember what it was called? Murder at Something?
We were at the Truman Center.
Truman Center?
Yeah, I think it was, no, at King Center. I think it was written by Margaret Truman.
Did you read it?
Mhm.
Was it good?
It was decent. I've read a book in a long time, so it was different. But like some of the books they gave you, like when you're in the hold, I mean, you're not allowed to have books in there, it's on the Bible, but the counselors there let me have a couple of books, and they just like, here's so much to choose from. This one they had. I told them like mystery books or something like that, and that's the ones.
It's kind of crazy they're giving them like murder books, murder mystery books.
You hope that it wasn't some sort of
Yeah.
insult or, you can only hope. Okay. What do you think of yourself now?
I don't. Back when all this happened, when I was in Will County and everything, I definitely didn't feel like myself anymore. Like when my attorneys would talk to me, like talk to some of my friends, and like some of the stuff they would say, like they would say good things, but I'm just thinking to myself, how could anybody even say those things about me now, being what happened? It's like people that I knew and that I never talked to again, that like maybe I was like the roommate like back in the day, or like went to school with, or something like that. Now they're just gonna say that's it's like Chris Watts, that's guy with the high school F guy, like did all this horrible stuff to his family. And now like I know I shouldn't really take to heart what other people think about me so much. It's just a matter of like what God thinks about me, what he thinks, what his opinion is, not anybody else's. Because everybody's gonna have their opinion about everybody. Like before I got in trouble, I mean, I was always the guy, hey, look, they're judging somebody on TV. Like that guy that's no orange judge. That guy that's that killed that guy. That guy that break back up somebody. Like that guy's horrible. Now I'm and it's like now like when we come out at like 6 o'clock at night and there's something on the news, like I try not to even pay attention to it. It's like I don't want to be in that position where I'm judging somebody else, because that's what people were doing to me. I don't want to be that person anymore. But just hope that I can step back and kind of look at everything that I've done in my life, and then like up to that point, just like I did some good things, but the matter of the most important thing, I screwed up the worst. And so if I can at least maybe help somebody, and however much time I have left.
Was it your intent the whole time you were taking the girls out there that you were going to do that to them? Honestly,
it's like when I got there, I didn't think it was gonna, like you talking about the tanks or just,
yeah, like just.
I mean, I just thought process and all this, none of this makes sense. That's why I know you guys keep asking these questions, because it doesn't make sense to me.
But I guess like, did you could have done it before you guys left,
I know.
and not had him alive in the backseat. They could have been with shenanigans in the backseat.
I didn't think about anything really, like as far as like how everything was gonna happen. I don't know like why it happened, like why I left everything out there in the field and why like all this stuff. Like none of this makes sense at all.
But to Tammy's point, did you think that they might be coming back, or did you know they wouldn't be coming back?
No, the whole trip out there, I mean, it was like I was on, like I wasn't thinking. It was like, In my mind right now, I'm thinking back. I'm hoping that I wasn't coherent enough to make that decision to where I knew I was going to kill my girls. I'm just hoping that no father would ever want to do anything to hurt his blood and flesh, but I did that, and I just don't understand how it happened. So I even read books that say no dad would ever do anything to hurt his children. This happened. So I always think to myself, was I even a dad at one point? I don't know. But it's going to take a long time to guilt and everything to get this through.
Do you ask for forgiveness from God?
It just takes a long time for me to forgive myself. And that's one thing that's not good. Let's hope that they can one day forgive me too. Stay with
I
it.
think you said earlier that you were so angry at Shanann or whatever that you were gonna, anyone in your path of destruction or whatever was gonna get it. Basically, kind of is what kind of made it sound like. I'm not saying that exactly right, but why were you so angry at Shanann?
I don't know if it was just because of separating me and my family, pretty much. Because it happened at the wedding. That's the reason they didn't come to the wedding. I blew up at my family to a point where I said some horrible things to them back in 2012 that I pretty much told my family that I don't need it anymore. I said I cussed my mom out. I did all this kind of stuff. I never thought and I don't know if it was just Shanann coaching me on to do it, or if it was just rage that was I'd never seen before. And then I don't know if it was just everything that happened in July, but I can't see my kids. And I'm not sure if they're ever going to go see them again. I don't know. And it was just I don't know if that had something to do with it. That something inside me just triggered it, and then just all that pins up from the wedding and everything. Just it's a long fuse that finally just went to its end.
What happened in 2012?
There was my mom and Shanann just from when I proposed to her, it was at the beach, and from then on it was just she always went up to Shanann and was I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age, and just kind of kept boiling over, and we never agreed on anything. It was just we didn't really need their help to do anything. We're just we'll just pay for it ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And it was just back and forth, and I think maybe my mom just never thought she was good enough. She always thought she was hiding something from me.
She always thought Shanann was hiding something? Like what?
That stuff from her past. They're
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So there's conflict at a barbecue, and all the families got together. And the first, maybe a barbecue that Shanann put together for everybody to get to meet each other. Two families, do you call that? When you first started dating.
Oh. I remember we did have something like that, but I didn't remember any kind of arguments at any place like that. I know when I proposed to her, Shanann had her family come down to the beach too. They stayed at a separate house. But as far as a barbecue or anything, I don't remember one that was like that.
Way before then.
Yeah. I remember the time when I asked Frank to, I was okay if I asked Shanann to marry her. I remember that we'll get together. I don't think.
So then what was the blow up at the wedding about?
It was just my mom and pretty much my sister just didn't like her.
Oh.
They just thought, that Shanann had taken me away from them and moved me out to Colorado.
Oh.
Because we were in Colorado when we flew back to get married.
Oh, okay.
Because we went to Colorado for Thanksgiving to visit some friends, and we decided to move out there a couple months later.
Okay.
So that was April. I moved out there April 2012. We got married in November 2012 in North Carolina. So they always thought I was just taken. And she took me away out there. And
Was there something with invitations or something? Your sister was supposed to send invitations.
Yeah, there was. Okay, now you're bringing some memories back. There's something to do with that, and then my sister wanted, her kids. My sister wanted her kids as the ring bearer and something else, ring bearer and flower girl. And then Shanann, she told her no, or either Shanann told her no, or Jamie backed out because of something else, and then just all blew up.
And is that pretty close to the wedding?
Yes. Yeah. A couple of weeks.
Did they go to the wedding, your family?
My grandma did.
But your parents and your sister did not go.
Ronnie wasn't there either.
Nobody was there. It was, my grandma was there, and then like the dance when like the groom danced with his mom, like it was I danced with Mark's mom and my grandmother.
It's sad, isn't it? I mean, it all comes from a place of love, them loving you and not wanting to get stolen. And
It was a great day. I mean, everybody was really happy. I mean, it's always just rang in the back of my head. They were never there, and every time they look at pictures, it's just like, oh, where's not there. Never knew if they actually were going to come anyways. But as far as like, sometimes they'll just like, all right, we're just going to go just to be there. But they never knew if that was the case.
so then when Tanya was asking why were you so mad at Shanann, it was part of it just this whole family strife.
That's the only thing I can think of right now, because I mean, there's no other reason really to be mad at her. Since we took care of each other our whole 8 years. It was just like a good relationship. I mean, it's just like, if I never met Nikki, would I ever have, thought our relationship was bad? I would not. That's one thing I always thought about. Like, even Nikki asked me, like, if, I don't want you. She said, I don't want you to leave your wife just because of me. I'm just like, what do you mean? She said, well, just if you met me, like, would you have known? I'm like, oh. So I never thought I would have strayed away from her at all. Like, I've never followed and like tried to follow anybody.
Was Shanann checking your phone, or
She always had my phone.
she always checking your phone? So how did you get past that?
I used to work phone.
The text. And you had some secret apps, right?
That was on my personal phone.
Were you doing anything else to have contact with her?
And I just texted her with my work phone. And like when Shanann and kids went to North Carolina, she used my personal phone. She just told me like to put the pictures in an app, and I just found that calculator. I just put, just searched on the app store, like hidden pictures, and this calculator after something popped up.
Like in your iCloud or your whatever isn't linked together, so she would know if you're getting it, downloading apps and stuff like that.
They used to be a long time ago, but when we got different phones, or when our phone contact list to be synced up in the cloud and stuff like that, I couldn't have she had like tons of like phone contacts. I just couldn't have all that, but it's still kind of linked up at one point. But as far as like she asked me to get my own iCloud account, just to kind of speed that up a little bit.
How about your Facebook account? You deleted that at some point. When did you do that? And why?
I think it was, got back August 7th. I think it was probably August 8th. That's when Nikki told me she told her friends about me. And I just figured, they probably looked me up on Facebook and see that she was pregnant. I think Nikki already knew probably already, but I just I did that.
Did you and Nikki ever fight?
I never fought, but like I said, I had to calm her down a bunch of times.
Yeah, you started to mention that when we were talking to you before about her getting upset about some video or something about being bipolar, or
Well,
what are you talking about?
I think either my dad told me about that, or John Ross told me about she made a couple videos when she was just talking to herself, saying she was bipolar or something like that. But a lot of things when she realized that she's the other person in the relationship, that I'd always put my wife first over her, and that's what kind of made her take a step back a few times, and then I kind of calm her down.
Tell me about those times. What'd that look like?
So the first one was probably around July 4th when I had to leave her house. So because she wanted to kind of spend most of the day together before she went to a baseball game or something. And when I had to leave, it kind of just made her kind of take a step back and wonder what she was doing. And I just told her hey, just because of what's going just because I had to leave doesn't mean you have to just take a step. I was comforting her at some point. I don't even know why I was doing it. Maybe I knew I was too far gone at that point, but it was.
Because this is Shannon's pissed. She's called you 10 times. You were sleeping because you had your day off, and then you go outside to talk to her on the phone and then tell Nikki that you need to go home just in case she calls back and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what did she say to you, Nikki?
She was in the shower and she said okay, and then that's when I talked about calm her down. She's on the phone.
And was she we're breaking up? We're not gonna. I can't
No,
do this.
no. She said she didn't want to. She didn't think it was safe or feels good for us to see each other anymore that day, the rest of that day, just because of all that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And she asked me to come over later on after she got back from her baseball game.
And so you did that.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the second one like?
It was basically about the same thing. She was, I didn't really know it at one point, but I guess she had set up a couple dates with some eHarmony app or something, and they never showed up. And she'd already made plans with me, and
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans with you?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
I guess she kind of figured out they weren't going to show up. She went, I guess when she went to the baseball game, they never showed up, and there was another one that never showed up either.
So she's actively dating other people?
I
while you guys are
didn't know it
together?
until like a couple weeks later.
And how'd you find out?
She told me.
What'd she say?
It was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then like she had told me like I'm not sure why she told me about it, but it was very random, and she could tell it kind of like took me back a little bit because I figured she would have told me that if she was actively still like looking around. I mean, she didn't have to tell me, but I figured she.
Do you think she told you though so that it would hurry you up and
make a decision?
you're making a decision?
It might have been, but she never had anybody that's actually tried to like fix things as far as like hey, like I like where we're at as far as like the relationship goes, and actually like I did stuff for her around the house, around her little apartment. Like, nobody's ever done that. She just thought it was different.
What about our male friend? Where does he stand with her? What's his name?
Jim.
Thank you.
He worked in the oil field, North Dakota, I believe, and I guess he's been a friend of hers for a long time, and it's kind of like a shoulder to cry on. Is always somebody that's always been around for her. And I guess he's had a couple of girlfriends, and just I guess he's not hadn't had much luck, I guess, in that department as far as like keeping girlfriends, and just him and Nikki have always been good friends.
Just platonic friend.
That's
as far as you know.
As much as I know.
Yeah.
But I think they just been friends for a long time, especially up in oil field, North Dakota, or whatever he's working now. I think either Wyoming, they go all over the place.
When Sandy and Frank lived in the house for 15 months, what was that like?
It was, it was tough. Do me wait or
No.
Okay. It was tough. I mean, go from just me and Shan, Bella, and CC to 2 other people, and then 4 dogs.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Onyx he's a terror, 100 pounds of just heat-seeking missile everywhere, and like it was cool having more people around, but like it was stressful.
Yeah.
Because with Shanann, like having 2 dominant personalities in the house, with her mom there, it was kind of like what her mom would tell her kind of how to raise the kids sometimes, or like do this, do that. Like whenever they're sick, she was like, all right, rub peroxide on your feet, it'll be fine. Just like what? Okay. And I wouldn't do it, and saying like just do that. But like it's just like little things like that, and it was like a clash every day.
Yeah.
It's kind of like every time I got home, I didn't know if Shanann was pissed or if she was okay, because when they first got there, they didn't have a job yet, and so they're just around all the time. But then, like once they got jobs and stuff, like I think it was a little better for Shanann because they weren't around the house all day. But it was definitely stressful, just vacuuming like every other day.
Yeah.
And just like cooking was great. That was awesome. But now it's always like because they were down in the basement, so I was always really trying to keep the girls upstairs while they were sleeping, so they're running around downstairs, and I didn't want them to wake up. And I know Frank always told me that trying to waking up Sandy early is not good. So it was just, just kind of like walking on eggshells a lot.
Yeah, it was stressful.
Yeah.
You think that stressed your marriage with the time, or?
I mean, it was 16 months. It was 15,
16 months. Yeah.
It was a long time. I mean, it was great around the holiday times because they were already there, and like all that was great.
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely. We never really had much alone time.
Yeah.
You always had to kind of plan it out. So.
Yeah. What was her purpose for living out there?
They just want to be closer to the kids.
Okay.
Just because they're, we FaceTime a lot, but it's not the same as like,
Right.
With 2 kids, hard to fly back and forth. I mean, when they went back to North Carolina this past time, it was the first time Cece's been there. She was 3.
Yeah.
First time her brother ever met her.
So were they trying to move to Colorado permanently, or they just?
They were thinking about it at that point in time.
Okay.
But Frank would stay. He didn't want to leave. Anyway.
She wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a matter of like they knew their house wasn't being taken care of, and they wanted to go back, and because they had put their house up for sale for a little while, but never bought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about your financial stresses?
Yeah, the bankruptcy was something I never thought was going to happen. I think that was back in like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. But I never thought that was going to happen, and I never thought a lot of it was from the wedding because it just drew on credit card. And so it was, and then the doctor bills from like endoscopies and just like girls seemed like they were sick like every month. It seemed like some type of ear infection, which to figure out was just like put the tubes in their ears and stuff. There was like no different operations here, a couple overnight stays in the hospital for breathing, stuff like that. And so it all mounted up. I mean, I never thought it was that far gone, but you know.
Was any of that from Shannon's neck surgery, or are those bills pretty well paid up?
Well, I think the bankruptcy never touched the medical part of it because you have to be like specify the medical part of it, medical bankruptcy, and then there's like regular bankruptcy.
Oh.
I don't think bankruptcy ever touches like student loans or medical stuff. You have to like be specific to that.
Okay.
But I think it just took away like a lot of the furniture that we had bought, and then a couple other things inside the house. Kind of alleviate a lot of the. It took. We had to make a house payment on my phone every month, and I was to the bankruptcy spiel like every time, and it's just like I didn't know how long it was going to take. But apparently, it was. Once you're in bankruptcy, you pretty much never get out of it.
Yeah.
It felt like.
Weren't you guys behind on your mortgage? Even when I
like
talked to you?
earlier in I think December 2017, and then January, February, March 2018. That's when I took we took the 401k out, the loan out to pay for that.
How was it even spending so much money forward?
Just, kids and just other bills that we had, and I knew the car was getting paid for by the bell. I never really asked to see I didn't even have access to the bank account in my phone.
Oh.
So I never really asked to see what it looked like how far. I just know she'd call me and tell me, hey, can you pay the mortgage today? Yeah, cool. And that was from my little 4-wheeler incident where I sold it without actually paying it off yet, and she thought no, you're never touching the account ever. So I'm like, okay, that's cool with me. But I never saw the account for what was in there. I just hey, there's when I worked at Lawnmower Ford, I got my check, I just brought it there.
Yeah. So. There was a hair care company, I think it's called Monat. Does that ring a bell? You know anything about that?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe hair dye. I don't know. It's like a. Do you know she did like an auto order for that company and had stuff delivered? Any kind of hair care product or hair care dye?
Not something. She had little. There was something like a little gift pack she had delivered once every month or once every 2 months, and a different array of different products in it.
Don't remember where it's from.
Like you said, Monet.
Monat, Monat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
there was an order that was made like $251. That's why I asked if it was like an auto order type
it
thing.
might have been an auto order.
Yeah,
It might have been something that I know that Nicole Atkinson, she's into all that stuff. Maybe Shanann got her something, or maybe there's something she recommended.
Okay. How about the HOA thing? What happened there?
She was mailing to the wrong address. They changed her address, and she mailed to the wrong address for a year. And then we got a letter in the mail where we getting sued over it. We didn't pay our HOAs for a year, so we had to pay double for either a whole year or a couple months. That sucked.
What happened to all the money that sent to the wrong address?
I don't know. They said they wouldn't credit it or anything. I'm not sure what the address was. She said it was just something that she didn't see. I was like, well, I wasn't gonna harp her about it because she did so much. So it's like I'm not gonna say what the heck are you doing? No, just don't need that. I know she felt bad enough.
So, Chris, what do you think we could have done better? What could have made you tell us the truth that night? What did you need to hear from us that you didn't?
Really, I'm not sure what really goes to people's minds when they're in an interrogation room. When I was in there with you and Graham, I was just nervous. I knew I had done something wrong, and I knew you probably already knew or were going to find out. It's just I've watched enough, TV shows to kind of see okay, what's going to happen next type thing. I never knew if that's right, but I think it's just the horror of knowing what you did and trying to tell somebody else what you did. That's what kept me from doing it, because I didn't even want to admit to myself that I had done anything. So I knew what I had done. I knew how bad and horrific it was. I knew how bad it was going to hurt other people. I just couldn't even admit to myself that I had done it. So I couldn't even tell my attorneys I did it until 2 weeks later.
So were you trying to save us from the horror of it, or
it was just a matter of I couldn't admit to myself. How could I admit it to you?
So do you think any amount of us asking you things different ways would have helped, or do you think anything would have helped?
I think if maybe you didn't ask about if Shanann hurt the kids, you would ask the other if you know, something in that a different order of question, maybe it would have came out a different way. Because that's the only reason I remember that story is because that was.
Well, you weren't giving us anything
I know,
else.
I know.
That was the problem.
I know.
But so if you think we would have said, what do you think?
You would have said, you know, I think you'd have probably had to, if the video didn't show them in the truck, you probably had to have lied and just said, we saw the kids in the truck. I mean, I hate to say you would have to, you know, lie to get me to say what you wanted me to say, but it might have been that.
That we saw the kids in the truck?
When we were talking, there was a point where you just said, "Can I talk to my dad?" You just want to tell him first.
I just wanted to, you know, tell him that, you know, that I love him and that it's probably the last time you're going to see me again, as far as, you know, outside of a cell.
You're looking forward to him coming.
Yeah, because we're just talking on the phone, you know, it's just totally different when you see him, see a face, you know. It's like when we got on that little video conference in Will County, it was like, that was all I could do, just not to like just break down on that phone. So it'll be good to see them.
What do you get to do when they're here?
Just like this.
Like in a room like this with a
If
table?
there's a visiting center, like down in my unit, and I don't know what it looks like, but I know they said it's like tables. And it's pretty much they set up a time and give a couple hours.
That'd be good.
Yeah, just in that little center, and I'm not sure what else is in there, but I just know there's tables. I think it's like vending machines and stuff like that. But it'll be good to see them. And fortunately, they can't bring their phones in or anything. So I was hoping they could maybe show me a video or two, but I didn't have or a picture. But they pretty much want to let you come in with your ID. That's it.
Can they mail you still photos or anything like that?
Yep, they can do the still photo. This is sometimes they try to play a video over the phone for me. It's like, you know, it's really like fuzzy and crackles a lot, so we can't hear anything.
If you have any other questions for us, or do you ever wonder why they did this, or wonder why the investigation went this way, or
I think the first time I was brought in, I think it was like the 14th, I believe, when I met you that night. I mean, you told me there was a bunch of other people coming in for statements. Was that true?
Yeah.
there was a couple people.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were a lot.
There were a lot, actually, yeah.
Okay. So
We
I
had a
think,
whole board worth of people listed
Okay.
and agents out.
They didn't get the attention you got that night, but
I just wish none of this had ever happened, honestly. It's just like you guys could have never had companies and you guys never had to meet me or anything like that. None of it ever felt real. Especially like when they put me in that suicide watch cell, and last thing that one of those guys said was like, "Good luck." Just slammed the door, and I just kind of knew from then on that was it.
The deputy said that?
One of the guys in one like they call them the SOB guys, Special Operations Group in Will County.
Yeah.
That was it. Next morning, like when I got out to take a shower, I saw the newspaper and there was this big piece cut out of it. Just know what that was about, and I just kind of saw like my last name, and I'm like, oh, again.
if we came back and talked to you someday, would you be inclined to talk to us again?
Yeah, they just took me off guard. I had no idea.
We didn't really want to tell you we were coming just
Oh.
because we didn't want you to have anxiety about us coming.
I would have had anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
So we figured the blitz attack was probably the best course
it's
today.
like the first time we met.
Right. Oh, you knew when you were meeting me.
I just did. Yeah, you just don't have all your props here today.
That's right. So are props, man. That's
Sophisticated equipment.
It is.
Right?
That's right. Sophisticated instrument.
I don't know that that's going to happen. We might not ever see each other again.
I
But
didn't think we would, honestly.
your experience is definitely interesting. You yourself are definitely interesting. We see things in you that we didn't expect to, and we don't see things in you that we expected to see. So it's very interesting to us, and it's. I hope you can take to heart that today was a lot about us learning how to do better, how to talk to people better, how to do investigations better.
I mean, like, I never talked to a police officer before, or like FBI, CBI, anything like that. So that was all new to me. Like I said, everything that I've ever seen as far as, you know, the authorities have been on. So I didn't know like what to expect, especially when I got that interrogation room. It just felt like exactly what it looked like. Just like, you know, you guys poke and prod, and then we come back in. It's like, give me time to stew, give me time to like, you know, think. And just like it works. It just really like, I don't know, just drills more questions into your own mind instead of like, you know, just staying in their room and just asking questions all the time.
You liked it when we took breaks? Like, you think that worked on you?
I did.
So you were like watching videos with girls at one point. Do you remember that? Them giggling and laughing and
Like when I was in the interrogation room.
yeah.
I remember that.
You don't?
I didn't. I thought you already had my phone at that point.
No, we didn't take your phone towards the end.
Okay.
That was weird for me.
It's like when you put that picture in front of me.
Yeah.
And that's why it made me do it. I didn't have a signal in there, but that's like the videos I had on my phone. It was just like I wish I had taken those videos out more often before all that happened. But yes, that definitely got in my head a lot. I don't know where that picture was from because I've never seen that picture.
The one we showed you? Really?
I've never seen that dress before.
Really? We talked a lot about that dress.
Yeah. And you were
making
saying
it up?
I never saw her in that dress.
you were even telling us when she last wore the dress
About the
and
boots.
the boots.
Not that dress.
Those are her favorite winter boots, and she wears
Oh,
them
the
all
winter
summer.
boots. Winter boots, yeah, but that white dress was a little different. I've never seen that picture.
No, because you talked about buttoning it up. You said I remember because she just wore it the other day, and I had to button up the back. And
It must have been a different dress, but not that one.
Huh.
That picture, was that in North Carolina? Or was that?
I don't know where the
Pulled it
picture
off
came
of
from.
Facebook, Shannon's Facebook.
So maybe it was while you weren't there or
Might
something.
have been, yeah.
You don't recall that, huh?
There's a lot of pictures I guess I didn't see when they were in North Carolina that my parents had. Like especially like 4th of July and stuff, and they had like 4th of July dresses on and stuff like that I never saw.
Oh,
Some I had on my phone, but that white dress I never like they were like she was going to church or something. I just never saw that white dress. And Bella's little dress that she had. A little awkward smile there in the back. Yeah, that definitely got in my head when you did that.
when we had the picture out there for you. See, and to us, it didn't feel like that because you
I know,
really
it didn't
didn't
show any
elicit
emotion.
any emotion.
I
Yeah.
don't show emotion. No. It's like my dad. It's like we don't show emotion. Like
Were you fighting it down, or were you just not a guy to show it?
most of the time, I'm not gonna show it. Like I hold it in as much as I can, and like in my cell, I cry a lot, obviously, but like, I'm not really a guy to show it.
Okay.
I don't like. I try to hold it as much as I can.
You were a difficult guy to read, especially at the house that day. That makes total sense now.
I knew it was like just because I was like in shock or just like disbelief or just like some people said I looked like I was a heartless, no soul person, soulless person when they did like the TV interviews or something. I'm just like I'm just glad I never saw it. I don't even want to know what I looked like, what I sounded like.
But you were obviously feeling it then. You just weren't.
Yeah, just like
Showing it.
nothing registered at all. Everything was like just harbored deep down, and then like I think it was just one night when I was in my cell, it just all hit me all at one point. Not the fact that I was in jail, but the fact that like everybody was gone,
Right.
and none of it. I think if it was like like if something happens to your family, like in like an accident, like a car accident, or like something like horrible like that, it registers at one point. But if like you did it, I don't know if like it just doesn't register at one point. It's like in my head, it never registered.
Does it seem real now?
No, it feels real like every
It
day.
does.
Like I see pictures, I just know like where they were at when they were doing that. When I first had like some type of hearing over the phone, and I heard like Frank and Sandy and Frankie and they were on the phone, and I forgot what kind of hearing it was. Something about like a probate hearing or something. I knew exactly where they were in the back. I heard the birds chirp. I knew they were on the back deck, and I just like walked back to my cell, just balled my eyes out. I knew exactly where they were. I knew how many times the girls were back there. And it's just weird how emotions process differently for me than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like something like you said, if you lost your kids in the grocery store for 5 seconds, you'd be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, for me, it'd be like, I'd be panicked, but I probably wouldn't cry. I'd be like looking around trying to find them, but it's just like, it just processes different for me. I never knew why. Never know why. I don't want to think I'm like a cold-hearted person. It's just a matter of just don't show it. Show the emotion as much as other people do. Even when the girls left North Carolina, her Chance brother, mom, and dad were all crying when they left. It's just kind of like I never really saw my parents get like that when they left. It's kind of like I don't know if it's like you're born that way.
Like your family doesn't show emotion like that? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, my dad couldn't really speak at the sentencing hearing because he said he was kind of like he said he was going to lose it, like lose his emotions. Like that really hit me. It's kind of like I've never seen him like that.
Like vulnerable?
Mm-hmm. Like, nobody really ever seen me that way. That's why, like, maybe I just.
Was it ever like you're a sissy if you're like that, or was it just something you just never did?
I never saw my dad cry, so maybe it's just something that was imprinted in my brain that maybe I should never cry. Maybe,
Was your mom like a loving mom, like a doting mom, and would give you affection and hugs and kisses?
Oh yeah, she'd always like ask me like what was going on. Like she said I was always hard to read. She never knew what was going on.
But did she still try and give you affection even growing up?
Yeah, she always. My sister was always a parent. Like it was always like what was going on. She was always open with me. It was always just closed off. And she always wanted to know what was going on, like how I felt. And I just like, no, okay. That's all I give her. Even if something was wrong, like I would have probably never said anything because like I just deal with it myself. But I don't know if that is growing up that way. It just kept me that way. Deal with things on your own, but then they build up so much that you can't deal with them, and they take a hold of you. You never thought in a way you could take hold of it.
So you think as a result of just bottling up for so long?
Definitely.
What do you remember your dad saying in sentencing?
I remember there was a scripture. It was the 1 John 1-9, and then like a lot of it, their representative said for him, and my mom said a lot. My mom spoke, but everything my dad had written down, the person said. But he was talking about going to little league games and races and stuff like that, and going to being my coach and everything like that. And hoping that I can experience the same type of joy doing that for my girls.
I remember your mom saying she loves you and she always will.
Yep.
That was pretty important to hear.
I think at the end she said, "I forgive you, son."
Yeah, that was big, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Your dad, when we came here today, we were just hoping and praying that you would take your dad's advice. You remember what he said? I hope if you ever get a chance to talk, you can talk about it.
Okay.
And I think that's what today was. Don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was. I didn't expect it to be today.
Yeah.
The DA made some comments during that sentencing hearing about your emotions and having no emotions. Do you remember all that?
Yeah, just like, he lied to us from the start and a couple other things. I believe that's what he was saying.
What do you think? Do you think he was anywhere close to? What do you think of? Basically, what is your opinion of what he said in that?
I mean, it's going to be, taking all his evidence and putting in the story that he wanted to convey. And like, if you don't know me, that's where you're gonna portray me. Like, if you take everything from August 13th to now, like that's how people are gonna know. That's how people. There's no other way people are gonna opinionate themselves about me, just by what they see right there.
Right.
They're gonna say, okay, they look at the guy that did the interviews on the 14th, and they see, okay, that guy should be like, on his hands and knees, like crying his eyes out, and what's he doing? He's just like, he's just talking.
Right.
And they're just like, no, I know. And maybe got some information maybe from like her friend saying like he was cheating on her or something like that. He's a cold person. He was, trying to do this and that. It's like, they don't know me. That's always going to be their thing about me. Because like, there was one church service, the only one I've been able to gone to in here, and said, do not define by one moment in your life. And I think that's like, people are defining me by one moment in my life. They don't know like what happened before or what can happen later.
Yeah.
So I just hope that, hopefully one day people stop judging everybody. I just talking to people in here that, I don't even want to know what they did because I don't want to judge them. Like, I'm not that person. Like, they know what I did. I'm not going to ask them what they did.
Makes sense. You did show some emotion during that hearing. What part did you think you felt most emotional?
I felt when Frank was talking about, me. I didn't know what to expect when he first started talking, but he said I was the evil monster, and that rang in me, and he said I tossed him away like garbage, and that hurt. And when Sandy was talking about that video about Bella was calling me her hero, and that triggered it a lot there. And then when Frankie was saying, like, I'll never be called uncle again, but you'll never be called a dad again. That really stung. When my parents got up there, just hearing my mom and dad talk, just like they really couldn't look at me. They really couldn't look at me, but I'm still like, everything they said, saying that they forgive me and that I'm still their son, no matter what. I know, like, even my attorneys told me like you need to show a little more emotion because I guess first time I went to the courtroom, I didn't know what to expect. I'm still like new to everything, just in shock about what was going on, and I said I was just a cold person, just looking at it. So when I did the plea and at the sentencing hearing, it just all of it felt was more real than anything.
I remember growing up, my pastor used to tell me it's better to be 1 foot out of hell facing heaven than 1 foot out of heaven facing hell.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's you. You've been to hell and now you're facing the right direction.
I definitely feel like I never knew I could have a relationship with God like I do now, but that's like the amazing grace with all of this, but I just wish nobody had to pay any kind of price for this. I know there's a purpose for everybody. I just hope that I can find mine.
But I think you're seeking peace, right? That's it.
It's the only thing you really can do right now is to seek peace, and pray that everybody can find it too. For everybody that was involved, for all of you, and just all your team and everybody, friends, anybody that was involved.
What do you want to happen with this information?
I mean, I know you're probably going to tell Frank and Sandy and Frankie, just kind of give them a little closure, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to tell them. Obviously, you know Sandy better than I. She wants to know everything. But I'm going to digest a little bit before I talk to them about it. So I don't think there's any rush on that. And, but other than that, I have no intention of talking to anybody outside of law enforcement. But what would you like to see happen with it?
I mean, I'd like to tell my parents, like, you know, when they get here, instead of like finding out anywhere else.
Yep.
So I know, like, they've been bombarded with information from, like, you know, from the Amanda girl to the Trent guy to from like people going on Inside Edition saying they knew me or went out with me or had like whatever else with me, and it's like I don't want them to think that it's like other like false information going out there, because like people are getting hold of information, like where did they get this information from type deal, you know? So,
Would you like to see those people charged?
you know, people take advantage of situations, and you know they gotta honestly don't have to look into themselves and just figure out why they did it themselves. So I mean, I don't think charging them would help. I think they just need to work out whatever they got going on within themselves. I mean,
Did you ever have a profile on Tinder or anything like that? Any of those dating websites or anything?
I just have Facebook, I have Instagram. I didn't even know what the WhatsApp thing was called. So I was like, John.
You never heard of that?
No, I was just like, I don't even know what that is, man. This guy's fishing for something. I'm sorry you had to waste your time and go out there and talk to him.
It was a big time waster.
It was a big waste of time.
Yeah. But you would not want to be listed as a victim in that case, as far as him being charged with like false reporting.
I mean, he's whoever's gonna try to get their 5 minutes, 50 minutes of fame, whatever they want to do with this. I mean, that's on them. I mean, if he's willing to do that, then he needs to figure out what's going on with himself before, like, you know, I don't think charging him with something's gonna fix that. So it'd just be a waste of time.
Anything else before we send it away?
I'd be afraid to ask.
How things in Colorado now? I mean, since all this stuff and everything's quiet now, everything's cool. And
Well, we had another guy murder his fiance, girlfriend, whatever you want to call it. So that's made a lot of news too. I'm sure you've probably seen it on other news now. So,
everything here is based. I think the only thing here was like that Jamie Kloss thing. I don't know if you heard about that.
oh yes, we were just talking about that out front.
But the girl was kidnapped.
Yeah.
She escaped after like 90 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
She'll probably come here. Everybody
Yeah, they
comes here.
said he's in some county jail. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that what she said?
Barron
or something?
Yeah, so all I see here is like stuff. It's like everything happened here. So you guys didn't either. Watch out. Sorry.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Do
like
you mind if I take a picture of you just to show what you look like now? You just look so different then.
I just, you know, like,
It's not going to go on social media or
Okay.
anything. It's just for like our own records.
okay,
Is that okay?
that's fine.
Were you asking him something? While I was
No.
doing that? I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's like the roads in the background scary enough. You know,
I know. When it's snowing, it's
Mhm.
horrendous.
Reminds me of the days of ice racing.
Of ice racing?
Yeah, but we had spikes on the tires then. So.
Oh.
All right, Chris, we're going to let you get back to it.
But,
Want another finish drink?
yes, they won't let me take that back. Yeah, I had to shave. They recommended I change my appearance at the RDC. So.
Why is that? Just so people didn't recognize you? No.
Yeah, I just shaved it all off. And the razor, like I said, the razor they have here, it's a single blade. So like I'm like
A safety razor, right?
So it's more than it's like it's more safety than actually a razor.
That's why it doesn't shave.
Like a sharp rock. Or
Right.
Just imagine shaving the same spot for like 5 minutes, and then finally
something starts going.
Yeah, it starts. Like, they gotta warm it up or something. I don't know.
You'd probably be better just plucking them out with your fingers or something.
That'll be more, everything here's for safety. So like, yeah, I think like once I get moved to DP, I could have something different. So.
Oh, that makes sense.
Most of the guys in here that can't have razors. So.
Well, that makes you feel better, probably.
Well, they don't have to watch me. Other guys, they stand next to them while they shave. So that would be kind of weird.
Oh.
So they have any other jobs, like if like fleet? Would you be able to go work fleet maintenance or anything like that?
Like a class down like a minimum. Or like a low medium. They have guys that like run across the street to like a records building. I work over there. I don't know, like they said it takes a while to get class down from like maximum to medium.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure like if they here. I don't know if they'd ever commit Colorado or I don't know what their time would be.
Right.
I'm not sure if that happens or not.
Yeah. It's all pretty secretive and right up to the minute they do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You guys gonna do exploring around here?
So everything's covered in snow.
We were-
It's freezing.
There were such winds when we walked out.
We go rent a snowmobile or two.
Yeah, right.
Gotcha. Same with baseball season, but it's not. So
Yeah.
blue or flood or something.
Oh, NASCAR is back in full swing.
I saw the last two laps last night when we came out.
Oh, did you?
And I went over like 200 NASCAR races here on them. So
Yeah.
I went to one Daytona 500. It was one that Mark Martin almost won. I was hoping he would, but he got passed by Kevin Harvick coming out of turn 4. I was just like,
Yeah.
it was a wreck fest, I heard. So
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get to watch it either. But you went to NASCAR school, didn't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. That was fun.
it was a blast.
Yeah.
It was like my childhood, just reliving it all over again.
Right.
Seeing race cars with dynos and doing fabrication, welding, all that kind of stuff. So it was really cool. Not sure that school's still over there anymore growing up, but I'm guessing it still is.
So do you have to be escorted back? Is that what they do?
Yes. Yeah, like the unit I'm in, we all have to have escorts because it's a special management unit.
So guard escorts you everywhere.
Yep.
So what about when you're all playing basketball together? The guards watching you?
There's 3 of them in there.
You ever get in fights playing basketball?
No, we're just, we're, guarding each other, like blocking and everything like that, but everybody's
We're cool with each other? Good.
sweet.
Just right there.
You guys fly back tonight or
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
Yeah. Could have flown back tonight, I guess, but I don't know what time their flights are even.
It's probably the only time you ever come.
My brother went to school there, so. But I had never visited him when he lived there, so. That was my first time driving through yesterday. It's a cute little town. Actually, this town's cute. Honestly, like the downtown. It's a pretty cute
Mhm.
place.
It's just so desolate because it's so cold right now.
I think it was like a couple weeks ago, it was like -50 with the wind chill here.
Oh.
And they said like the PSU counselor I talked to, she said it hurt to walk in there and breathe.
Wow.
Yeah, they were saying, like, on the news, like, for people in, like, Chicago and all those places not to take deep breaths because it was, like, freezing their lungs.
It
Yeah.
was insane. It was like the deep cold from Canada that came through here that just like it froze everything. I mean, it was so cold and ourselves we were just like going out to eat. We were like, just, like shaking like that because the heat couldn't keep up with
Yeah,
that.
there's not much you can do.
Plus, this place is old, so like all the windows like were they couldn't insulate it.
Yeah.
The wind was just rushing in.
Would you stay here if you could?
I don't really know much about the state or anything, but what's going on in here, but like from what I see, they say it's decent.
Yeah.
They said it's a lot better than going anywhere else.
Yeah, that's generally the word. Is if you hear it's not as bad as other places, that means it's pretty good.
Yeah, so like I'm just hoping and praying that I can help people here and that just keep me around, maybe they'll make me like a personal care worker or something. A couple other inmates, mentor them. I guess they have a couple guys that are serving life sentence that have turned into personal care workers or counselors.
Good.
Help other guys when they come in. When I can do that. They don't have like the normal programs you would have, but it's not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like some guys like they want to get like extra degrees and stuff like that. They don't have that here. You have to go to one of the other places.
So if you just said, I want to, do some more education stuff, would you get moved to another place, or is it totally up to them whether you get
It's
to do
totally
that?
up to them. It's like, I'm not sure how that gets paid for.
Right.
So like, I'll just, whatever they want me to do, that's what I'm going to do. If they want me back to Colorado, I'll be like, why? Why don't I live back in Colorado?
Oh, if they told you that,
Yeah.
you would question that?
Oh, like after what? If I was here for a long time and then say, okay, since you leveled down, we'll move you back. I'm like what? But, know how that would go.
Are you scared to level down though?
No, I mean it'd take years for that to happen, but like I don't know. I don't know how it would be like in Colorado and the DOC there. A PSU counselor, she worked in DOC in Colorado and California. She said Colorado looks like California now.
Really?
She said bad about the gang violence.
I could see that.
Yeah, I think too. Opportunity. I think people in this part of the country are just different overall. It's really, we kind of talked about that earlier. Colorado's not like it used to be. People here just seem to be nice.
I think a lot of transplants probably moving into Colorado from other states.
Yeah.
Probably affecting that. Because no, Dave Colon, he said they were moving to Florida just to get away from Colorado because it's changed.
Yeah.
It's just so expensive and
Everything's since there. Houses just keep going up and up for any kind of like a half an acre of land you're just gonna pay the same amount of money. Here I think it's a lot cheaper, but the pay is it's much lower, I think. Too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was doing a little reading on the area, and the median house price here is like $116,000. And you can't even buy a mailbox in Colorado for that.
No, a PO box
that's
right
true.
there.
Yeah.
What a PO box in Colorado, $100,000.
Nuts.
I was reading like Pittsburgh, kind of like the same way. It's like it's crazy to think about how much it varies from like state to state, city to city.
Pittsburgh expensive?
No, like
Inexpensive?
yeah, it's like 150,000 per house.
Really?
Like doing like geez. But deal with the weather and deal with all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, there's a reason for that, right?
Like here, I guess you got like April to September. That's your only good months here. The rest of the time you're in your house.
Yeah, I don't think I can handle that. Especially if snowmobiles.
I wouldn't even like that.
Yeah.
It's
You
still
do that
cold
every day,
outside.
right?
Start using the snowmobile for necessity. That's a problem.
Right.
Get to the store.
You got the license plate on the
Daily
snowmobile.
commuter.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Kind of walk around Titletown all the time.
Are they coming or?
Yeah, they just did. They just literally walked away with another person.
Oh, they did.
They got to get to the end of the wherever and come back.
This place is huge.
It's a long hallway.
So how far is your pod or wherever you're staying from here?
Oh, way down that side.
Oh, the other way.
I think this is like the west side of the building here.
Mm.
I haven't gone much farther than this. Like all my stuff's always on the east side. But they got huge like pods. They'll have like 100 guys in them. So, but they move like 40 or 50 people out each day.
You have a cellmate, right?
No.
Oh, you don't have a cellmate.
Nope. When I go to GP, I probably will.
Mhm.
I haven't had one. Most of the cells in my unit are single cell. There's like 3 that are doubled up, but they don't have the overcrowding they have. That issue they had when I first got here.
That's what she was saying. There was like 400 extra inmates
Yeah.
that they ended up shipping out to different places. So
Yeah, I never knew what the assessment part of it was as far as like how many people they had coming in and out. But it was like people coming in and out everywhere.
So is it like a general supervision type thing, like Will County is? Where you got like a big room with the pods on the top, or how is that?
No, it's like you have a sergeant desk at the front of it, and then a hallway of like 20 cells.
Okay.
And they just kind of walk back and forth. It's the RDC was like you have like a cul-de-sac of cells, 3 tiers, and then like the perch for the sergeant right here. You can see in everybody's cell just from looking around.
Right.
But this one's like they got to walk up and down. This used to be like a mental hospital or something. It's like,
Oh,
like back in the day.
okay.
It's definitely old. You can hear those pipes like vibrating around the walls, and it's like, oh, that don't bust.
is it like exceptionally freezing in here?
Just a cold and black window.
Yes.
It gets, depending on which way the wind's blowing, depends on which side, but it gets cold. It gets cold.
Pretty chilly.
There was like a 6-foot snowdrift outside my window for a little while. It's finally starting to go down. So when it was like -50.
Yeah, that's a little too cold for me.
I mean, we're the ones that chose to come in February, but she's ready for you now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too. Take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Ugh. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't remember that being like that at the end. Woo! So we got through it. We did it. We have now successfully listened to the whole Dodge Correctional Interview. What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking that they like guided him too much. They should have asked more open-end questions. And I think because I did this video on Tammy Lee, she's kind of annoying me now. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Tammy Lee. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have for today. Let me just make sure I covered everything. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. If you like my content, consider subscribing. And we have memberships now. We have one tier for $2.99. We're calling that the Dragonflies. And I would love to have you. Thank you to my members that I have. Thank you to the replay crew. Thank you to everyone for being here today. I really, really appreciate you, and you mean a lot to me. No, Thunder Chick, I did not buy that striped sweater. In fact, I feel like I might talk about that striped sweater a little too much. It was like the worst thing to wear that day. If I had wore that day, well, that happens to me all the time. Like my best videos are usually where my hair is messed up or there's something messed up about my features. And I just got to let it go because it's my best video. But you know how that goes. Oh, good. I'd love to have you as a dragonfly. I'd love to have all of you as dragonflies. We're doing meetings or lives every Monday. I release the videos early to the members and I do the shout outs. I'm trying to think of more to do for you. If you guys have are members anywhere or you see a membership that the person is doing something really like chef's kiss, let me know because I'd love to do it for you guys. Okay. So I am going to go. Yeah, it was an ugly sweater. Somebody called her. I don't remember if it was Seeking the Truth or if it was the other guy, the armchair detective, but they called her the Hamburglar. And it just made me laugh because the Hamburglar was all striped and yeah, it made me laugh. And I can't take credit for it, but it's that sweater. Ugh, talk about it a lot. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna run. This live is a little bit longer than normal. I hope that's okay with everybody. If nobody's told you this today, oh, and be sure to give this live a thumbs up. If nobody's told you this today, I'm telling you this. I am so, so grateful for you, and I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Welcome to Para Women Radio. I'm
In
Amy.
the beginning, it was like we were glued to each other, yes we were. And in a room full of people, we lost our sight.